Let's fucking go. We about to go big. Kill him with the PrizePicks. Let's fucking go. We going out blazing.
Let's get honey.
This is population. Got to go big. Kill him with the PrizePicks. Got to go big. Kill him with the PrizePicks. 24/7 researching, it's all a fantasy. But if I make the right plays, it pays automatically. Bankroll showing that I know it don't strategy. On a winning streak, I'm stacking a dose of the bookies, all get mad at me. Confident with how it plays, not clicking on a flex today. 10 times the money, and we all about to get paid. Eric and Josh on the stream, they be killing it. Never gonna stop it, they like if you feeling it. Digging the players, they all never stop. You can't make up your mind and just go with your gut. Fantasizing inside your cloud. Gabby Williams said, watch your mouth. They won and they two, I played the over, they come through. Jackie Young and Kelsey Plum, pick them both, we stacking them. Going big to the maximum, just push them and we cashing them. Let's fucking go. We about to go big. Kill him with the PrizePicks. Let's fucking go. We going out blazing. This is population. Got to go big. Kill him with the PrizePicks. Got to go big. Kill him with the PrizePicks. We about to go big.
This is the game.
We going out blazing.
Let's get honey.
This is population. Got to go big. Kill him with the PrizePicks. Got to go big. Kill him with the PrizePicks.
All right, what is up, crew? It's Friday, September 2nd, and special guest and Tito We Trust, Vince, is with us. How you doing, Vince?
Doing good, man. It's Friday, off and just ready to make some money.
Yeah, and luckily we got the props in time so we could get a video out today because it's good to get on this stuff early before lines move. And also, yeah, just before the weekend, we can get this content out and people can have plenty of time to watch it if they want to and see where we're at early on. And just
We saw that last time too.
Yeah.
Remember during the Fish Shack trip?
Yeah.
Yeah, right after that next morning, it was just everything got taken off and got bumped, and
Yeah.
it's so crucial to get in early.
Oh, for sure. I imagine the secondary props, like the block steal, free throws, probably will go up sometime tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate we don't have it now, but yeah, we'll just keep an eye out for that. But we'll work with what we have right now. But I will say, yeah, your game script in theory last stream we did for these series was spot on, especially for the Connecticut-Chicago game. I feel like we kind of knew game script wise what was going to happen, that Chicago was going to come out strong in the first quarter, and they did. And that's what really made a big difference. Chicago had 24 points and Connecticut had 14.
Sheesh.
But now we moved back, or we moved to Connecticut. It's gonna be in Connecticut, and it's a real tight spread. 1 point in favor of Connecticut right now. The implied total didn't change from the last game. It's still at 163.5. So game script, it's gonna be a little bit more tricky to kind of predict here and get a roadmap for. We were kind of talking about before we started the stream how tight everything was matchup wise in the last game, and now we knew Chicago was in a desperation mode, going to come out and have a strong first quarter. Now things are going to be a little bit more tricky to try to figure out here because it's up for grabs now. You got a tied series. And it's going to be in Connecticut now instead of Chicago. So, where's your early lean on this game? This is the first game on Sunday. It's going to be at 1 p.m. Eastern. What are you kind of thinking here, game script rights? Are you thinking just kind of close battle throughout each quarter until the end, or should we expect Chicago to still dominate and ride that momentum from game 2?
I would have probably been more on the script of Chicago dominating if, 1, they were still down, and 2, they were at home. But just like you said, this is kind of in the air, up for grabs. Whoever just finishes out stronger, takes it. I think it's going to be pretty close. The spread obviously thinks it's going to be pretty close too. Um, I think, as usual, I think we can go about kind of the same script, which is saying that that first quarter will be very crucial for both teams.
Mm-hmm.
But it's gonna be it's gonna be a tough one. There just isn't as much sense of urgency to me for either teams, but I could see Chicago wanting to come out very strong, just so that they can go ahead and steal a game on the road, so that they
Mm-hmm.
don't have the pressure. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? At least
Mm-hmm.
they know we have the next two games at home to get it together. Chicago, like, this is it. I mean, they have to wait until game 5 if they get that far to have that opportunity. So
Yeah, for sure. They have, yeah, Chicago has to steal one, at least one here on the road. And it's best to do it in a playoff series the next game after winning at home, carry that momentum. So I'm with you there. I think, yeah, if I was betting on the game and the lines, I would take Chicago here, and then
mm,
probably think that Connecticut would fight back and try to win in the next game in game 4. Um, the thing, this game's kind of weird. So Candace only played 24 minutes. She was very efficient, 22 points. She didn't get done on the glass, which was very surprising. But I mean, overall, Chicago just did not get it done on the glass as a team, which is not too surprising, just because Connecticut has been the best rebounding team all season long.
and I
And
will say to that point too, you gotta look at those shooting percentages. Chicago shot 50%, almost 51%
mhm,
field goal percentage, and Con shot 48%, and this is Connecticut. So that's definitely going to hurt a lot of their rebounding potential. We saw the last game, Connecticut had like what, over 40 rebounds. They had
yeah,
39 this time as a collective, and Chicago only had what, 29?
yeah, 29, yep,
Yeah, so very high efficient shooting game for both teams. Going to kill those rebound props.
yeah, for
Don't
sure.
don't see that happening again though. I think this will be a little more of a grinded out battle.
Yeah, yeah, it'll probably go back more towards like what game 1 was like, where it was, yeah, a battle of defense and lower field goal percentage. I agree on that. Um, so yeah, so Candace, let's start with Chicago since they're the visiting team. She played 24 minutes, which is kind of weird because so I know that Chicago was pretty much had the lead from the get go because, like I said, they won the first quarter 24-14, but
Mhm.
they kind of had like a double digit lead majority of the game going into pretty much the third quarter, and then Connecticut went on that run and clawed their way back, especially in the fourth quarter. They won the fourth quarter 29-20, but it's kind of weird that Candace didn't even close. I thought the game was not completely out of reach by the end there, so Candace did not start the fourth quarter, which is kind of normal for her. But in a
Yeah.
more close game, she would have probably played in near entire fourth quarter, and she played a small stint in the fourth, and then didn't close. And as a result, Stevens got an additional 4 minutes run here, but she didn't do anything on that 4 minutes. But that put her at 22 minutes.
Yeah.
If this game would have stayed closer and forced Candace to play her normal fourth quarter run, Stevens would have been back at probably 16 to 18 minutes.
Yeah.
Candace, what with that said, I mean, only 24 minutes and how efficient she was offensively and defensively with her stocks as usual. What are your thoughts on her? Let's say I imagine they open her block steal probably 2.5.
I would
Um,
think so. If they don't if they open it at 2 again, they're just idiots.
yeah, I imagine 2.5. So let's say it's gonna be at 2.5, and her rebounds now went back down to 9.5. And then her points have been juiced. Her fantasy's juiced now.
Hmm.
What's your lean with her? Assuming that the game is gonna go full run here, full starter minutes, are you gonna stay with the stocks since she's been crushing it, or would you consider going back to rebounds here?
Very good question. I was actually strongly considering going back to rebounds just because I remember before when this series started, and I remember you saying this on stream too, like it's playoff time. The stars are going to excel where they excel at, and we've seen that from Candace. Again, the only reason why she only got 4 boards last time was one, she got 24 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
and two, both teams almost shot 50%.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's just not going to happen again. And if you want to go by the game script of this will be more of a grinded out game, there's going to be some bricks. Like I really expect Connecticut to go back down to their what 38 to
Yeah.
40% shooting.
Yeah.
I fully expect Chicago to drop back down to maybe about 44%, 42% shooting. I just and I think that's going to open up a lot of pathways to her boards. But her stocks are so consistent. We've seen Connecticut just constantly turn over the ball. So, and that's what she's there for, rebounding and defense.
Yeah. No, I'm with you on that. I think it all depends on what they open her block steal at.
Yeah.
If for any reason they juice it all the way to 3, I think then you have to start to consider exposure rate. But if it's at 2.5, I think equal exposure between her rebound and stocks would make sense. And probably just not go all in on one line for her. What's your thoughts on her fantasy? She's been absolutely crushing it. Is it getting at the point where it's too high for you?
It's it's uncomfortable. I think any click of fantasy points above 40 in basketball is pretty uncomfortable. But if she gets the minutes, I mean, she's going to crush it. I I think if you like her rebounds and you like her stocks, we know she's going to pass. We know she's going to get some buckets. So if you like all of those combined, you might as well just put a blanket over it.
Yeah. I mean, game one she played 34 minutes, so 10 more minutes than she did game two, and yet she
Mhm.
cleared the fantasy in both games. The only thing is like game two, it was just abnormal shooting efficiency for her relative to how she's been playing this season.
Oh yeah.
3 of 4 from three, 8 of 13 from the field, and 22 points in just 24 minutes. I don't think you expect the same production here, although she's been
Mhm.
racking up points on Connecticut, just because Connecticut's pretty much clamping down on everyone else, especially Copper, and with Copper being limited offensively, it forces Candace to be more involved on offense even more so. But they adjusted her lines um, a lot for her offense production. I mean, 16
Oh
and a
yeah.
half is a lot for Candace. I mean, she's always been at 13 and a half or 14. So,
Oh yeah.
she doesn't make those threes and doesn't take as many shots for whatever reason. That's going to be a scary click. So
Yeah.
I'm with you on the
Completely agree.
fantasy for her. And I guess next, speaking of Copper, oh man, her points are all the way down to 14 and a half.
I
It's just
know,
not a
man.
good matchup, but
It's so low, but I get it. It's really a tease. It's really a tease. I mean, it gets lower and lower, and she had 12 and 13 against them. It's right there, but just considering the matchup and now it's on the road, I don't know. I feel like they're really just like trying to bait people at this
yeah,
point.
yeah. Because I mean, if she did, yeah, because I mean, she's going to take on average probably 2 to 4 threes for at most.
And she's
Usually
not
around
super
two,
efficient.
2 to 3. You really need her in this matchup because it's going to be hard to score in the paint. You really need her to hit her threes, and she can hit them, but she's not the most efficient 3-point shooter. She's more of a slasher and get to the basket kind of player. So I think, yeah, with this matchup, I'm probably just going to stay away. It's not worth risking it, even though she could maybe get right over
Yeah.
that line. I will say that in this series, she's been really effective in the first half, and we talked about that
Mhm.
last stream. And she's been getting over that 7.5 point first half. I wonder if they kept it the same, even though they brought her total points down.
Let's see. I haven't even checked the
Oh, they
first half.
juiced it.
Oh, they juiced it to 8.5. Oh, great.
Yeah, they caught on. Yeah, so
What a tax.
yeah, it's a huge tax. Huge tax. That's a two. That's a 3.5. No, 2.5 tax. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's not worth it. Okay, never mind.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, they're not gonna. They're most definitely not gonna give us the .5 block steal.
No. No, they're not.
I think I love Copper, but I think it's just gonna have to stay away in this matchup. Sometimes it's playoff series matchup based, and it's just the way it goes. Yes, they can
Yeah.
barely get over that, but do you really want to risk that and hope for that slight edge over? But I would say that matchup based, Emma is probably the best option outside of Candace in this matchup, just due to minutes and her role in this
Mm.
series. They didn't adjust her lines, did they?
No, no, her PRA is still the same. I think all of her prop lines are still the same.
Jeez. Okay, well, let me ask you this. I mean, PRA makes complete sense. Totally
Yeah.
get if you want to go to that. If they give us, which they've done pretty much majority of the season, if they give us 1.5 block steal again, which one would you have more of, or you kind of just would you split it up your exposure?
Has she really been? She has been racking up some stocks. I mean, if it's at 1.5, that's so low.
She
I
had
feel
three.
like
She had three last game, and I believe she had. Here we can check. Oh, I can't check. It's not on the board. I believe she had one. I think. Oh, she had one game one, but I
okay.
think the stat she had two, and then it was stat corrected. One of them was taken
Mm,
away. I remember that.
and that would be the one reason why I would lean her PRA.
Yeah, yeah,
Just because she's not guaranteed a whole, she's not as active as Candace with stocks. So you really have to hope that one, she actually gets two, and two, they're actually recorded.
right.
At least with Candace, I mean, she could have six stocks and they record three, but you're still good. So
Yeah,
I'm still thinking PRA. I think the matchup is just too good for her. We've seen her clear this PRA in I think almost every meeting against Connecticut.
yeah.
I mean, it's purely matchup driven, especially if you think that Azura is going to be limited some more too. I mean,
I think so. Especially on the road and Connecticut coming out with more force and physicality. I think, yeah, even more so. They're going to need Emma here.
yeah.
Did they juice her first half? Let's see.
Oh no, I don't think they did because Cade called that out.
Okay, they didn't. It's still 11.5, so you can consider that too.
Mhm.
Although I kind of like the narrative and script of like first half for home teams because they're going to come out with more energy being at home.
Good point.
So I mean with the PRA not being taxed and being still so low, if I had to pick one, I'd probably just lean the PRA because I
Yeah,
think the game is like we think is going to stay close all the way to the end.
yeah, yeah.
I,
I
I love
completely
that. I
agree.
love that play a lot. And obviously going back to Candace for her prop lines. So I would say those are probably top two for me on Chicago. And then I saw you guys cooking up some stuff on Vandersloot. Talk to me about her and what you guys what you're thinking of her.
Vandersloot. So I do like Vandy. The only thing, and really the only reason is because it's low. It's really a low play for her. I mean, 27.5 fantasy for someone who could potentially play. How many minutes did you get last game?
28.
She only got 28,
Well,
but
I mean, she checked out. She checked out at the same time Candace did. Basically when the game
exactly,
was out of reach.
exactly for someone who's going to and that's in an out of reach game, and she still played more minutes than she's projected for fantasy points. So add about what 4 or 5 more minutes to that. I mean, I just don't see her not getting there. I just don't. But we did see that game one. So how do you feel about Sloot on Sunday?
So I think obviously for her to clear that fantasy, she's gonna have to at least get one stock, and then she's gonna have to get it done on this um,
Yeah.
side of things. And it just depends on, yeah, if you think Chicago, if they're gonna shoot a little bit more poorly on the road here, Connecticut clamps down a little bit. We saw in game one, she had 10% potential assists and finished with only 2 assists
Two.
because all her teammates missed. But that was a really, really extreme bad shooting night for Chicago. So maybe if you kind of slightly adjust it and go a little bit better shooting percentage, maybe, I mean, she finishes with probably what's, I would say, still around
Six.
six
Yeah.
assists.
I would say that. I think that we need to expect something in the middle ground of game one and game two.
I'm with you 100%. Yeah.
I think that we're going to see a regression for both teams back to their median. Just like as like the series wears on,
Hmm.
you're just going to see these teams just fall back into their usual patterns, I think. And I think we're going to start seeing that the next game.
Yeah.
And
It's,
if that's the case, then yeah, then Vandy is probably good for about six, I would assume.
yeah. And this series, yeah, she's just not getting it done scoring wise. I mean, it was kind of
She's not.
surprising she didn't take any threes in game two. I mean, as a whole, Chicago really cut down on the threes. I assume it's because they took so many game one. They took 30 game one, and they took 15 in game two. Yeah,
Yeah, I think with that said, that does give me because she hasn't looked the greatest in this matchup. I think a lot of us have been fooled by regular season history for her against Connecticut. So I think the expectations were kind of high. And we did see her bounce back game two, but we saw the whole team bounce back game two.
yeah,
So, I mean, it is low, but we know Chicago. We know they're very balanced and that anybody can pick up the slack. It it's really just a play based off the fact that 2 games ago she was 30.5 and now she's 27.5. So if you just
right,
want to take a
right,
shot, then take a shot. But I don't think it's going to be a core play.
right. Yeah, I think it's more of a mid tier fringe. Um, Quickly bounced back as I kind of thought she would shooting wise because she was like 0 of 5 or something from
Yeah,
three. Game one, man, her first half did not move. Okay, she is still consistently playing the most minutes in the first half by far of all the starters.
it's her and Emma, right?
Her and Emma, but
Yeah,
even more so, Quiggs is the most consistent in terms of first half minutes. She played the entire second quarter, pretty much 3/4 of the first quarter, and that's been the case pretty much all the series. So that first half fantasy, I mean, it's down. It's still at 10.5. It's low if you're
it's
looking for
low.
low lines, but I mean, she didn't clear it in the first 2 games because yeah, how poor she shot in obviously in game one, but
Yeah,
she's just not getting the stocks in this matchup like she did against New York. Um,
she isn't. She seems like she's kind of. I mean, the whole team seems like they struggled a little bit, but Quiggs in particular, like she had this bounce back spot, but she just we saw game one that she was just smoking wide open layups and
yeah,
just playing awful. So I wouldn't be surprised if even though she got the minutes, the production just wasn't there. Like, uh,
yeah,
and again, it's first half, so
yeah. It might not be worth it. It's just I like when the minutes are so high over the fantasy projection.
oh, for
Um,
sure.
yeah, she had a 3 pointer in that game one that got stuck on the rim. If you remember, terrible. And the Connecticut bench was laughing.
Oh, they was
Um,
cracking up.
they were cracking up hard. So talk to me about Stevens. Are you still right back at with her unders? And it seems like points are the way to go. Just based
Yeah.
on history in this matchup.
I think that so last time we talked about this game, we talked about how she wasn't prepared for the physicality of game one. She even admitted herself she wasn't prepared. I think we saw a little bit of her actually being prepared for it last game, which made her fantasy points pretty sweaty. But I still don't think it's a good scoring matchup for her. I think that she will continue to adjust to the physicality and probably get better on defense progressively throughout the series. But I just don't think the scoring is going to be there for her. So
Yeah,
I'm
not at all.
definitely leaning her points or PRA, but probably points.
Yeah, I'm point. I mean, in this matchup against Connecticut all season, she's cleared the point prop once, the 10.5 once, and that was when she played 40 minutes because Candace was out and went to overtime. She played 40 minutes and she still only had 12 points.
God.
So, I mean, it's just, yeah, it's not the matchup for her, just like Hopper. So, I really like that 10.5 under. And
Yeah.
again, doing this, going back to the same pairing with Emma's PRA.
Yeah. And I'm gonna say like the moment I saw Azura airball those two threes in game one, I knew this is a
Cooked.
smash under.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's cooked, bro.
And
She's
look,
cooked.
and she responded in game 2 by taking only 1 3.
Which I mean is better for us. She'll probably just won't focus on her offense as much,
Yeah.
honestly. Like
Yeah.
she knows that she's struggling here, and if you're a smart basketball player, you know that if you're struggling in a playoff game, stop shooting.
Oh, for sure. Okay, and then to cap it off for Chicago, what are your thoughts on Rebecca Gardner? Are the lines too risky and too low for you to go under on?
So I passed up on her PRA last time because it got bumped down by one, and she like barely went under. I mean, she had 10 PRA. Uh, yeah, I don't feel as much confidence.
Yeah,
Um,
she has assist potential when she's out there.
she does, and I think we even saw her last game score what 6 points or something like that.
Yep.
She actually scored. So, and she does get scrappy in there for rebounds too.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's really worth it. I think they want a player like that out there. I mean, she's only playing 16 minutes, but when she's out there, she's going hard every second.
Oh yeah, she plays. Yeah, she plays so fast and yeah. Um, yeah, I'm with you. I think the lines are too low now for her. They're getting adjusted appropriately. Anything
Did
else
you
for Chicago that
did
you
you
think?
take her last game?
No, I didn't. I didn't.
Yeah,
I just stuck with Stevens. So
same,
I
same.
didn't want to go under on both of them and then like a same card. So
Yeah.
I think we covered them all pretty much. Unless you had any other ones that stood out to you that we can go over.
I think I'm gonna be really interested when we get second half. I mean, secondary props.
Yeah.
That's really what's going to interest me. I think those lines are so low, and that's kind of what these playoffs are about. They're about playing defense, getting to the line if you can, things like that. So
Hmm.
I think that's where I really want to target, just not getting any warm and fuzzies from these lines.
Yeah. Um. Okay. I think maybe one if Vandersloot her turnovers is at 2 or for any reason it goes
Mm,
down to 1.5. I think maybe on the road here you can consider it, but she's been pretty good about taking care of the ball in this series so far. I think she had 2 in game 1 and then 1 in game 2. So
and not only that, but we've
but
seen a lot of usage going through Candace and Emma too.
yeah, that's a good point.
So that can really, and normally like Sloot's the one constantly having the ball in her hands, setting up the tempo. I think they're leaning away from that for this matchup.
Yeah, that's a good
She's
point.
she's
Really
not
good
quite
point.
as effective. So,
Yeah.
but I still like it though because she's always live for what 2 turnovers.
Yeah, she is. She is. All right, well, let's move on to the home team, Connecticut here. Man, I feel really good about going under on Bonner and AT in that last game.
Oh yeah.
But I will say that Bonner had a real anomaly free game here in terms of shooting volume. I wasn't surprised about like not being efficient, but the shooting volume.
Shots.
Now JJ took 17 shots, which is also abnormal.
Yeah.
We did not expect that, and that's why we took unders on her initially. But I mean, she made it a couple lucky threes. She took 4 threes, which is abnormal. She usually, will take 2 or 3.
Too. Yeah.
It was just weird. I don't know. I think they're gonna adjust and go back to Bonner here offensively. I don't expect her to take only 6 shots again.
No.
What is your lean? Are we gonna stick with Courtney under her points? She didn't play the fourth quarter because of blowout. Whenever it's out of reach, she never touches the court in the fourth quarter. But now with a game that could probably stay close to the end, she might get that,
Yeah.
5+ minutes in the fourth quarter.
She's just so bad. Like
She
she's
is,
just so bad. I
but
mean,
she's taking 10+ shots a game.
she is.
She can
She
get
is.
lucky with a couple of them.
And the thing is that a lot of those like running floaters, she's only missing because she's moving too fast.
Oh yeah,
It
yeah,
isn't because like she's heavily contested. It's just she's just rushing it. And I mean, I don't see her changing her pattern, but that volume is kind of scary. And we saw 10 shots in 19 minutes. That's a little concerning.
she had
I mean,
12 shots game 1 too.
yeah, yeah. I I I still like it just because she's awful. She's just hot garbage. But
For sure.
I'm not as excited about, especially going back to Connecticut.
Yeah.
I think that's what's really taking me off a lot of those unders is that they're going back home.
Yeah.
But I think we could switch to Heidemann.
Yeah, Hyman took also a really abnormal amount of shots. She doesn't take that many overall shots, 10 shots. It's usually what, like the 6 to 8 range. So,
hmm
man, I don't know.
And,
Like,
and she shot 60%.
yeah,
Like
that was
she's
big.
50% from 3. I mean, she's not going to shoot that well. And if we consider it a closer game, she's not going to get that fourth quarter run like that either.
Yeah. But yeah, I think with the wild card of them going back home
Yeah.
and wanting to respond, someone's gonna bounce back here, whether it's AT or Bonner, or even maybe Courtney. I don't know. I
Maybe
might just
Bree.
stay
Maybe
Bree
Bree
too.
Jones.
Yeah,
She only played 20 minutes and shot 33%.
terrible. I might just stay away altogether. I don't know. Do you
Yeah.
have a lean? Do you have a lean for any Connecticut?
No, not at all.
Yeah,
I don't want to touch JJ. I'm over JJ. I know.
I'm so over her.
Oh yeah, I know she'll probably go under points this time.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Don't care. I'm not touching that.
Yep.
Alyssa Thomas, her assists are down to 5.5 already. They opened it at that. Don't want that in a Connecticut. Her rebounds are slightly tempting, but 8.5 is a lot to ask. She got 10 last game. I mean, I'm not getting any type of feel for any of these players. It's going to be a mess. It's going to be a very balanced mess.
Yeah, I'm just gonna stay away, man.
Maybe some secondary props. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe if we get AT's turnovers again at 2.
Or her stocks.
Yeah, her stocks too.
Before.
Trying to think of what else they might.
Oh, under her free. Did she clear?
Yes.
Did she clear?
No, I don't. No, wait.
Hold
No,
on,
she didn't. She was 1 of 4.
Oh,
yeah. but the issue is, I think last time it was what 2.5.
Yeah, I think it'll stay at that.
I think so too.
Yeah. I think if it's a 1.5 block steal, which she's always been at that all season long. I think it could. That's probably the only one Connecticut probably would consider here.
Yeah. I'm with that 100%.
And then, yeah, Bonner even hooked us on her turnover. She had 1. That was annoying.
She just doesn't have the ball. I mean, one
She
in
only
the
played
volume.
25 minutes too.
Yeah, and the volume just wasn't there. I mean,
Yeah,
6 shots, so you have to assume that the ball just was not in her hands.
yeah. I think we could still. I think she. I think it changes
Yeah.
this next game. I think she goes back to like what she was in game one, more involved.
Oh yeah, I think we see a regression from JJ, and we see that production flow right back in onto Bonner.
Yeah. Um.
Yeah, I mean, if they gave us like, if they're kind enough to give us like Carrington props or something, I'd be on that. But they're not going to do that either. And
Yeah.
I'm not touching Bree.
Oh man. I mean, with Courtney Williams being such a vet and just like solid on defense, Sims totally outplayed her in that game,
Yes.
and Carrington as well. Obviously, Carrington's been doing that lately. I just wonder if Courtney could just lose out on even more minutes. I don't know. It
That's
seems
what
like the
I'm.
coach is set on her.
Yeah, it seems. I don't know. But when you shoot this poorly 2 games in a row,
Yeah,
and the next game it really does cost you, I mean, you have to make a change, right?
yeah, yeah,
You have to make a change. I mean, when you see players like Heidemann have to step up and shoot 60%, I mean, something has to give. And we've seen Sims and Carrington both come off the bench and give them a huge spark.
yeah. They got him
I just,
back in the game in the third quarter. They went on that
they're,
run.
they're so scrappy, man.
Yeah,
Especially
Carrington.
Sims. She's so scrappy.
Oh yeah, yeah. She was. I remember she racked up a steal and had a fast break there. Yeah, I mean, look at Carrington. She was plus 12 in the plus minus department here,
Yeah.
and Courtney was -4. I don't know, but the coach seemed stubborn and set
Yeah.
on Courtney getting this normal first half run in third quarter, and then she just like I said, if it blows out, she just doesn't play in the fourth. Yeah, let's look out for the secondary props, and I think that's about it. I don't want to mess with any other Connecticut here. They
Yeah,
just
I
been
don't like
thorn
this
in our
game as
side.
much as I did last time.
Yeah,
It felt really good last time because we had a pretty clear
yeah,
script. We
yeah,
knew like Chicago's gonna come out strong.
yeah,
And now again, just like we said before, it's a toss in the air. And same thing with props. Props are a toss up in the air. I think we're gonna be going back and forth between games in this round. So I think that LVA might be giving us a little more props from their game.
yeah. I'm with you on that. Yeah, I mean, Connecticut. It's just like one of them's gonna have a spike game and bounce back, and while the other player goes and has like a regression back to their under their mean. So
Mhm.
it's very possible that we see that with Bonner here and JJ go back, but I don't think it's worth the risk on that. So
No,
let's
no,
just uh,
I
let's
can't
just
do it
get to
again.
the better game here.
Yeah, I can't do it again.
Let's see. Oh, let's catch up with chat real quick. Hey, what up, underrated? Josh and Vincent. Oh yeah, always loving Tito on here with us. Casey
Love to
Hicks,
be
we
here.
appreciate the weekend stream. Yeah, man, we want to get this out for you guys and have it all weekend because like on the weekend I'm gonna be gone and won't be around, so all of us are pretty busy. But we'll try to get our rankings out too. Trying to wait for the secondary props before dropping those, but maybe we'll give some like pre-rankings if you want to get on stuff early before any bumps. Hey, what up, Io? Those air balls, Vince. Underrated said, yeah. Uno, if JJ wore the Seattle cap again post game, she's got to be a fade. I don't know if she did. We'll check. I haven't looked at the post game stuff yet.
Yeah, I haven't either.
But yeah, that I don't know why she's wearing that.
Post game interviews, like if y'all don't check them out, so crucial.
Yeah,
So
they
crucial.
don't. These ladies don't. They don't have a filter. They say what's on their mind in the game plan.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So we have Vegas traveling to Seattle here. Interesting thing about Vegas is if look at their season long stats, they have the same record on the road and at home. I believe they're 16-5, both at home and away. And Becky Hammond has even said that she actually likes her team's chances better on the road for whatever reason. Um,
Interesting.
yeah, she's come out and said that in interviews this
Hmm.
season, and I don't know, maybe it's just like she instills like an underdog mentality in them. Because I mean,
Yeah.
Vegas has such a strong following. They fill the arena up. They get like 10,000 fans
Yeah.
out in the arena, so you would think they would have some edge there. But yeah,
But I could kind of see that though. I mean, look at how these players have been responding, right? Like you've had Chelsea Gray who got snubbed, and she just went to a whole different level. I mean,
yeah,
yeah, she's kind of trash, but I mean, you gotta give it to her. Like she really stepped up, and we saw Asia like when she was down and people just weren't believing her and saying, "Oh, like she isn't it." Breeze of the MVP. Boom, she bounced back in a big way. So
mm, yeah,
I kind of get that. I kind of get it. I do think that this team is full of players who play with chips on their
mhm.
shoulders,
Oh yeah,
and they also get comfortable and
yeah,
complacent whenever they're at home too. So I could see that.
yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, yeah. With that much talent, yeah,
Oh yeah.
you could get complacent and just hope that the talent around you and your players next
Hmm.
to you pick up the slack. Well, speaking of them, let's just go right into what props we like. Um, do we have any updates on Hamby?
No, I looked earlier today, nothing new from like the past like day or two, I think. So we're still waiting on that. Don't have anything else on Gabby either.
Okay. Well, Hamby seems like she's more on track to play just due to the last game she was marked as available to play, but obviously she didn't play. But
She
that
was
would
suited
make me,
up too.
that makes me think that she could play. I mean, Stokes' minutes went down
Yeah.
like you predicted. That was a great call. And he said that there's no way she's gonna play 30 minutes again. She played 20 minutes, I believe. Um, and she took 2 shots. So obviously Becky told her no more shooting.
Right.
Um,
And she missed both, right?
not surprising.
Yeah.
Um, okay, let's play if and here. If Hamby doesn't play again and they give us Stokes, we obviously just go with her unders. But what I'm thinking is that the same thing could happen where Hamby's announced available to play, and then we just don't get Stokes on the board.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I completely agree with that.
but keep an eye out. I will say that in the second half of this game, on the second half props, they dropped Stokes props for the second half. So you never know. Just keep an eye out. Maybe if we
That's a
get early
gem.
news on Hamby or something for whatever reason they say like, oh, she's not gonna play or she's gonna be on minutes of the limit or something like that, and we get Stokes props. Definitely want those unders. Who and is your favorite target here, and what prop for Vegas stood out to you right away?
Favorite prop from Vegas. I just think we have to go right back to Asia. I really do.
Yep.
I mean, I would say Jackie just because they just keep dropping her fantasy points, but I think it's kind of the copper effect too.
Yeah.
I really feel like it's a bait. I mean, we did get what it is that we wanted out of her last game, and that was the volume, but the efficiency isn't there, especially with them running small ball and her being guarded by Stu a lot.
Yeah.
That's not it. That's not
Yeah.
the answer. So
Yeah. And
you
she's
really,
exerting so much on defense too.
oh yeah, oh yeah. I I I don't want to go there if I have to only rely on just her stocks. I just don't
Yeah.
want to go there.
Yeah.
So I think that we just have to go back just to the well and say that Asia's back and she's ready to play.
Yeah, I that's kind of where I was thinking leaning. I think it's just gonna be again in this close of spread, 1 point spread, close to
Mhm.
170 total. I think it's just going to be Asia versus Bree,
Yeah.
the two MVP candidates all season long going at it, and they're both playing the most minutes on their team.
Yes.
If you had to pick a line for Asia, her fantasy went back up to 42.5, and her points went back up to 20.5. Do you have a favorite prop for her, or are you going to get different exposure and
I'm
split it
probably
up?
gonna have different exposure. Um, they even juiced her rebounds to 10.5 too,
Yeah, yeah,
which you could still consider just because Seattle is such a poor rebounding team. And
yep.
if you really expect Asia to go off, I mean, I could easily still see 12, 13 boards again. But I think I just want to throw a blanket over it, honestly. Um, I just think she's gonna crush it. If she clears her points and her boards, she's gonna clear her fantasy. She's gonna
Yeah.
get those 3 stocks. And I think also too, they're gonna juice it, but her free throw made
Oh yeah, probably. You think it's going to juice to 4?
4. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's a breeze at too, and that's what it should have been at last game for Asia. So
Yeah, usually whenever they drop it down to 3.5 and then she ends up crushing it, they usually just put it right back at 4, just default.
yeah,
But I think that they're going to keep trying to punch it inside the paint. I mean, they're going to have to.
oh yeah, yeah. Fantasy is probably the best. I mean, with the amount of minutes that her and Bree are playing fantasy, with the type of players they are, and how they're going to get it done overall, I think makes total sense. Um, but if you think she's not going to rack up, 3+ stocks, I mean, you could always do her PR too. Makes total
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
It's only
Which one
juiced
do
by
you lean?
25. I'm probably gonna lean fantasy just to give a possibility, another avenue of clearing through her stocks. Because if her rebounding goes down, say because Seattle's shooting really efficient at home, um,
Yeah, good point.
and
Good point.
she gets 8 to 10 rebounds, it doesn't get her like 12 plus or 13 to 14.
That's a good
Maybe
point.
maybe if you just need the extra stocks here and there. Um, Yeah. All right. I'd probably say fantasy for her, and then for me, with the same line of thinking, I would probably say fantasy for Chelsea too.
Yeah,
It only
yeah. I was
went up
gonna
by one. So okay, so I think game one it opened at 30.5. Game two is 31.5, and then now it's game three at 32.5. So
Mhm.
just I mean, she's playing about the same minutes as Asia. Pretty much the entire game.
They need her. I mean, they need her.
And
Honestly,
she's so efficient in this series, matchup all season.
we saw in that last game, they had a couple of minutes where she was just off the floor. And God, that offense just looked like it was lost. Like Asia just had to take it and just say, okay, I'm just going to do whatever I need to do. Because Plum looked like she didn't know how to pass and nobody was moving. It looked awful. Like they
Yeah,
really needed Chelsea out there to facilitate the floor on and off the ball. Not only that, but
right.
then we saw for their small ball defense, we saw Chelsea on bigs a lot because she's one of the larger guards. So I think that especially if Hamby doesn't play, Chelsea's going to be a huge factor again. Huge factor.
Yeah, yeah. Um, I wonder if they give us her turnover at 2 again, if they're going to juice it at 2.5. The only reason I say bring it up is because if Gabby plays and is okay, Gabby tends in this matchup to roam the perimeter and will switch off on Plum and Chelsea.
Yeah.
That just increases turnover potentially even more so for Chelsea. She had 4 in the last game without Gabby out there, but just something to think about going on the road to in a hostile environment. Someone who's playing almost 40 minutes entire game and trying to force the issue. If we get it at 2 again, and you don't want to play such a high line at the 32 fantasy, I could get behind the 2 turnovers.
I like that. I
But
like that.
with how much she's been turning it over, um, they might juice it to 2.5. So I'd probably get off if it was at 2.5. I just want that cushion of a potential push there.
I like
Speaking
that.
speaking of Plum and her lack of playmaking in this matchup, her assists are still at 4. What are your thoughts on going under here on that? And does it depend on if Gabby plays or not?
I don't really think it matters, quite
Okay.
honestly. I mean, I think either way, Plum is. I mean, she's a scorer. She's a straight up scorer, and we know that. We've seen her fill in at key moments to pass when she really has to, but she's a scorer at heart. I think if Gabby does play, it might lead to a couple more, but I just no. I like the under. I would like it more if it was at 4.5 though.
Yeah.
But at least 4, I think, is pretty safe for that. At worst, a push.
Yeah. 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 Because yeah, I mean, lately, she's at her peak assist games, she's been getting about 4. So.
Yeah. Well, and we also noted that Jackie,
Hmm.
like, she loves
Hmm.
to pass in this matchup.
And yeah, they
So
juiced it as a result.
exactly, exactly. So that really just eases any concern about Plum passing because I know that Chelsea's going to go into black hole mode.
Yep.
Asia will probably go into black hole mode towards the end,
Yep.
and Jackie is going to just keep on passing, especially with Jackie shooting so poorly.
Hmm.
She's going to pass the ball.
Yes, her shot volume's down, her shooting efficiency's down. So as a result, she's passing more and playmaking more. I mean, I would have loved it if it stayed at 3.5, but now at
Hmm.
4, I don't like it.
Yeah, I was
It,
thinking
it
the same thing.
it's too risky. Because like 5 is really like I feel like a peak assist potential here in this matchup. So
Yeah,
I really like the Plum under assist though.
I like that call. I
Uh,
like
it,
that.
were there any other biggest props that you liked, or secondary ones that we should look out for that you would be interested in?
I think that going back to Chelsea, I think that I know we like both her fantasy and her turnovers. I think if you have kind of concern with Gabby coming back and her turnovers, I think you could go her PRA too, honestly, especially if they're running small ball, because you saw her really rack up the the rebounds too, I believe, in this
Yeah,
matchup.
she had 7.
Yeah, and a lot of that was because again she was against bigs and
Mm-hmm.
they needed her size down there. We saw her wrap up Tina for a jump ball like what three or four times
Mm-hmm.
easily. So I think that if you're concerned about those turnovers at all, and especially with Gabby being back, then her PRA can be live too.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, I mean, she's basically having to play dual roles here. She has to play the Hamby Stokes role because Hamby's out and Stokes is not getting it done, and then she has to play her normal point guard role. So
I wouldn't do PRA if Hamby's back though.
yeah, it's a good point.
Wouldn't do that. Just because of the rebound
Yeah,
potential.
I
But
think maybe if Hamby plays, you can maybe consider the point assist.
I was going to say that. Yep, PA will probably be the
It's
best
not
way to fill
taxed, which
in.
is surprising. It's a straight even bet line addition here with their points and assists. So
I kind of like that regardless, honestly. That's
yeah,
not
me
that's
too. But
not bad.
you brought up a good point about the rebound potential in this matchup with Seattle taking a lot of threes and poor rebounding. But
It's just very conditional. We really need news for this one, I think.
yeah, yeah, on both sides. Yeah.
Oh yeah, for both sides for sure.
Okay. And then moving to Seattle, we saw Bree almost play the entire game. She played like close to 39 minutes and fouled out. And if she didn't foul out, she would have added like 30 more seconds and yeah, would have pretty much played the entire game. and just went off completely. Not surprising. And now she's coming back home, and she's going to clamp down even more at home. She really gets up for these home games,
Yes.
and especially after coming off a loss and trying to take back the advantage in the series. I know her lines got juiced again, but I mean, with her dominating so much in the series and Seattle leaning on her completely, um, I just don't see why we don't go back to her. But the question is, what prop line do we like the most? Do we like her points? Do we like her fantasy? Even PRA? What do you think?
I think that I'm treating her just like Asia. Treating
Hmm.
her just like Asia. I I think that fantasy, if she's gonna play 39 minutes,
Yeah.
like and at home where it's already proven that she averages more stocks,
Hmm.
I
Yep.
mean, it just seems like a no-brainer, right?
Yeah. I mean, it didn't move much.
Mm.
It's been sitting at 42 pretty much the entire series. So
And I think they're scared to move it up any further, just because it would be a prime spot to hit in under on at least one game. But
right.
they're not going to move it up anymore. And I think we have her projected for like 50.
Yeah. That's what. Yeah. Last game, I think your model projection had her for like 51, 52, and where did she finish with? Pretty close to that, right? Yeah,
Uh,
51.9. It's pretty spot on. So
pretty close, pretty
yep.
close.
I trust Tito the model. I'm gonna go back to it. I'll say last game I was hesitant on it. We won with their threes because it
Yeah.
went down to 1.5. People were going under on that. Um, I was just I hate paying such a high tax, but now with seeing how the series is going, and how much Seattle is just relying on her completely, and now being back at home, returning home, I can now feel more comfortable paying this high tax and juice
Yes.
lines. And
Yes.
I think games 1 and 2, there was just always that holdback because we've seen where Jewel and Tina will go black hole mode and take over
Mhm.
the usage. But I think we have enough sample size in the series to feel comfortable that we know what to expect from Bree.
It's
Um,
her game.
it's her
It's
game.
her game.
Yeah.
And again, especially if Hamby isn't in, I mean, she's shooting right over Jackie.
Yep.
I mean, even if they come with the help from the baseline, she's turning around. They have a backdoor cutter, a guard, throwing it right over the defense. I mean, it's just a mismatch, and the
Yep.
only person who can stop her on that team is Asia. But they don't want to play her too much on her either because they need her in crunch time for scoring.
Hmm.
So she will get switched on Bree pretty fairly, but for the most part, I've seen they've tried to keep her away from Bree.
Yeah, they have. That's a good point. Um, what are you gonna do with Jewel and Tina?
Jewel's gonna be a hard one this game. We've already seen Vegas adjust for her,
Hmm.
and it worked. Um, I know you're the Lloyd whisperer, so I'm going to defer to you on this one. I didn't have a lean for her.
um, I would say that like just how much interest I get and focus I'll have on Bree, I'll probably just stay away. I mean, she
Yeah.
has a really high chance to probably clear this points. But I mean, if I was gonna choose anything for her, it would probably be her points or PRA.
Yeah.
But I'm probably just gonna lean more so on Bree here. But maybe if you wanted to hedge a card, like hedge your bet, and because you don't want to go all your cards all in on Bree, because anything can happen. Obviously with variance, I would
Oh
say you
yeah.
could hedge with Jewel and do her PRA or points and a card that doesn't have Bree. But I will say with Tina, I think you can still go to regardless if you have Bree in the card or not. Um, Her PR just went up by only one.
That's what I did too. So I've only put in one card and it had that exact matchup or
Hmm.
matching. had Bree Fantasy and Tina PR.
Yep. And yeah, I mean, if you add up, because the rebounds went up to 8.5 now.
Hmm.
So if you add up the 8.5 and 13.5 points, it equals 22 PR. So we're still getting a discount on the PR. I think this will probably go up by Sunday. So
You
probably
think
I'll probably
20?
jump on that early too as well.
You think 22 and a half?
Yeah, yeah, because most of these like PRPA lines are taxed by 0.5
Yeah,
most of the time, or they're an even addition line. So yeah, either 22 or 22.5 would make
yeah.
sense.
And I think that's just about where we have her at too. I want to say maybe around like 23, 24 PR. So sounds fair.
Yeah. Let me look at something real quick.
Yeah, 22
Her first half stuff, did it get adjusted?
for Tina.
Mm-hmm.
Where was that last game?
It was 11.5. Okay. I think you can consider this too. She crushed it in both matchups, and she's playing really solid minutes. I think she's playing more minutes well, not in game two, but I'm pretty sure in game one she played more minutes in the first half than the second half. I think that's another line. If for whatever reason they juice the PR, but by the time you start entering cards, and they don't
Yeah,
change her first half PRA, I think you could consider that and go back to that.
I like that. I like that.
Especially like coming back home and coming out and playing more energy early on.
Oh yeah, and I think you want to take advantage of her production before Bree gets going.
Yeah.
Because you already know second half, like Bree's gonna turn on,
Oh yeah.
especially if they're
Yeah.
trailing at all.
Yep.
Bree's goes just gonna take over completely. So I think that's very smart to go to the first half for Tina.
Oh
Even
yeah.
though I'm terrified of a first half.
I know. I know. But I mean, no, yeah, you're right. Bree does turn it on in the second half, just like Jewel. Jewel turns on in the second half a lot too.
So with that said, would you go back to Jewel under first half? No?
Oh man, I just don't know what to expect from her in this game. Going back home, more urgency. I don't know. I think the shot volume could go up, and she could get some lucky threes and just have
Yeah.
take more threes. I
The
I'm probably just gonna stay away from her, to be honest.
the one prop I would take for her is the over on point five shoes lost.
what's up? Yeah, what's up with that?
Both games, like literally the same spot she lost her shoe.
Yeah, I
Like
don't get it.
I don't get it, man.
Um, let's okay, yeah, let's do different scenarios here. If Gabby remains out, obviously Talbot will come back on the board, and Talbot was super efficient,
Yeah.
played huge minutes. Um, relative for her, she played. How many minutes did she play here? She
Oh,
played
she played big, man. She played like 30 something
32
minutes last
minutes.
game.
Yeah. Um, her fantasy, what was it last game? It was, oh, here, do I have it still in here? I think it was 17.5, I believe. I
Yeah.
think, I assume it goes
Or
up.
was it 16 and a half? Was it 17 and a half? Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. PRA. Oh, no, this is Gabby's lines. So, yeah, Gabby was usually around 24.5. I think it goes somewhere in between. I imagine it would go up to like 20.5 fantasy.
Yeah.
What would be like a fantasy point line that would be too high for you, the threshold for her?
Probably around that 20 and a half. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, the minutes are there, but I don't know. Like I'm waiting for her to fail.
Yeah.
I just I feel it coming. She's playing great. Like she's playing really, really good, especially on the like scrappy side. She's doing the peripheral. She's getting the boards. She's really getting the boards.
Yep.
If they gave us a rebound prop for her, I'd smash that.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm maybe I'm being a little harsh on her. But I don't know. Like I'm not getting a great feeling about her. And I really do think Gabby plays. Like I really do.
Yeah. So okay, let's go. Let's go with that scenario. If Gabby plays, she hasn't played in what? Probably almost 2 weeks.
It's been
Over a week and a half.
so I think by Sunday it'll be 12 days since her last game.
Yeah. You got to think in how well Talbot's playing that they're just going to split their minutes
Split the
probably
minutes.
pretty evenly, if not even more so favoring Talbot. So maybe like a probably like a 21-minute, 19-minute split or something like that. So
So
yeah,
let's see. So I had it kind of the opposite, but I do like that point. And we could say maybe Talbot drops down to about 25 minutes, roughly. Maybe 20. I think 2025 for her is very realistic, especially if they go small ball. LVA goes a small ball again. I think that's very realistic for her.
yeah. I if we get any early news that Gabby's going to play, I would maybe consider some unders on her PRA. I just don't think coming back from the concussion and being out for 12 days and how well Talbot's playing, I just don't think they're going to throw her out there and have her play her normal 32 minutes.
No. I I can't see that. One, they're going to be a little cautious of her, and two, like just to pick up a player like that and throw him into the midst of like a game three.
Hmm.
You really have like you don't want to mess up the flow you've been working without her too. Really don't have like an opportunity to give up games here. This LVA is too good of a team to say, okay, we'll bring back a partially injured player and see how it goes. They're going to capitalize on that.
For sure. Um, and then I guess to finish this off, what are you gonna do with Sue? Her point prop line has gone down to 8.5 now. It's not at the 9.5 or 9 marker, and her assists are still at 7. Um, we've seen
Oof.
her role in the series is solely to play make,
Yeah.
but she
Oh yeah.
will she can find some lucky baskets here and there, like in the second half.
She can, and she's wide open so much too.
Hmm.
Sometimes she gets a little frisky and she decides, hey, I'm going to shoot the ball. It's usually a brick, but I mean, the opportunity is there for her. Um, I haven't played her actually this entire series.
Me
I've
neither.
stayed away.
Yep.
Just I know a few people have been pretty high on her, and it's worked out great. I just the minutes she's playing now,
Yeah.
and the fact that the ball is going to be in her hands every single possession. I don't. I don't. I mean, I think you could consider her under points. I think that's pretty live if you think she's going to go into straight playmaking mode, especially with Seattle going back home. We could see, a fairly spiked shooting performance from the team that could really boost her assist. I think it's safe for a push, but I don't know. I'm not big on Sue in this matchup.
I'm not either. I think the lines are getting priced appropriately now. It's getting to that point
Yeah,
where they're coming down and they're tightening screws on her, seeing how she's playing now that it's too close for comfort. I'll probably just stay away. I will say if you're doing second half cards, although she cleared her second half in that last game, but she tends to go even more ghost mode, more so in the second half for all the reasons that you went over with Bree and even
yeah,
Joel going off in the second half. She even takes more of a backseat in the second half. She had a
yeah.
lucky bank shot at the end of the game with like a minute left or something, like 1 or 2 minutes left in the last game, and that put her over her second half, 4.5 points. But so that's just something to look out for if
Yeah.
you're watching the game live and tracking prop lines.
How do you feel about Ezzy?
I've been staying away. Do you
Yeah.
have a lean? Is she? Oh, she's not even on the board.
No, no, no. So usually they wait to drop her last minute.
Okay.
Um, so last game I liked her under PRA last game.
Was it at 10 or 9.5?
Nine and a half.
I think I
Was
have
that
it here.
it was 9.5 last game, I think.
Okay.
And the
And-
reason why I liked it is I know it's super low. It's super low. But if especially if Hamby isn't back, and especially if Gabby is back too, LVA is gonna go right back to small ball. I mean, it worked. They're gonna go straight back to it. And Ezzy's kind of ineffective here. I mean, you saw them like pushing the pace back and forth, and Ezzy was still like 2 plays behind. And then whenever she did catch up and she got matched up against Asia, it was just a straight foul. She got lucky with a couple of stocks. Well, I think she only had one block that game. So that's why I stayed away from her fantasy. But if you think that LVA is gonna run small ball again and that they're really gonna lean again on Bree and Tina and Jewel, and if Gabby's back and if Hamby's out, yeah, I'm smashing Ezzy unders. She only got 9 minutes last game.
It's a really good point. Really sharp. I mean, she didn't touch the court in the fourth quarter. I mean, she checked in for like 8 seconds.
Yeah,
Because Bree fouled out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. I know people get scared of unders, especially when the lines are so low, but I'm not scared of low lines anymore.
No
Especially,
fear in my heart.
yeah, not at all. If you like, I mean, what Stokes was at 6.5 points, and people were scared of that,
Right.
but our prediction was spot on with her. If we think the same thing is going to happen here, and you got a player playing less than 10 minutes, and if her PRA stays at 9.5, yeah, I mean, she's gonna have to average her PRA per minute.
Oh yeah.
So-
I mean, based off what we have, I have her for about 10 minutes. I think that's pretty fair, right?
Mhm.
I mean, six PRA, man. But, and that's being generous. That's assuming she's actually going to hit a couple buckets.
I like it. Let's look out for that. Let's hope it stays at 9.5.
I hope so. I kind of think it will. I know she really missed it last time, but I just don't think they're really paying enough attention to those really low lines like that to say we're going to pull them down more. You know what I mean? It's already so low where it's risky and it's keeping people away and they're not smashing the under.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. Oh, before we finish off here, secondary props that we can predict. Jewel she went all the way up to 2.5 threes, I think, last game. If they bring it back down to 2, being at home, because I mean she only took 3 threes last game, but you gotta imagine she's gonna come back home, and they're gonna adjust on offense. I imagine she's gonna take a lot more threes. I think she took 10 threes in game 1,
Yeah.
so probably somewhere in between there. If it goes back down to 2, maybe that's a better lower line for her.
Oh yeah. I like that. I think I wouldn't touch anything besides that for her.
Yeah. I know it's tempting with these 2.5 assists and 2 rebound lines
Yeah.
for her, but she a lot of time, majority of the time, will either hook or go into that, just because of Bree and Tina hogging up so much of the stat line. Any other secondary props off the top of your head that you would consider for Seattle?
It'd be nice if they gave us Bree threes at a 1.5 again. That'd be great.
That's not happening.
Yeah, she went what 3 of 7 last game. Yeah, she absolutely crushed it. Now I will say, I don't think they'll move her free throws again.
You'd probably stay at 4, right?
I think so. And I've been playing that for the past couple of slates, and it's been coming through. I mean, she's being aggressive.
Yeah,
She's doing everything.
Even more so at home. She racks up those free throws.
I think you could consider that, and maybe if they give us her stocks at 2, I think she averages like close to 3 at home.
Yeah, it's true.
So you can consider that. And plus, if you like her fantasy score, you probably like her stocks.
Yeah, I forgot. Did they have it? Was it 2 or 2.5 plus?
I don't remember seeing the last game.
2.
2. Okay.
Oh yeah, if it's at 2,
Yeah. I'm taking that at 2.
I mean,
Especially if you want a low line to sweat. I know because 42.5 is a lot.
it
I
is.
mean, you really do want all of those 38 minutes, 39 minutes. But if you want a low line to sweat, I think her stocks are really in play.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, keep an eye out for that. Hopefully they don't open it at 2.5.
How do you how do you think they adjust to Asia as far as defensively? Do you think that she sees more of Bree now?
I do probably. Yeah,
If that's the case and they continue to ask to run the offense through Asian, that really makes me like her stocks.
that's true.
Because before she was on a fairly active Jackie Young, but didn't have the usage enough to really like have a spike stock game.
True. Yeah, let's definitely look out for that. I hope they open it at 2. That'd be really nice.
Yeah. I mean, she barely cleared the last time. She only had 3 last time?
3. Yeah, I think she had 1, maybe game 1.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
if it's two, I like it.
All right.
2.5, I might still take it, but it's just not a comfortable click.
Yeah. All right. Let's do our team card. Our last one hit. Went 5 of 5. So
Yes, sir.
let's keep the streak going here. I know obviously we're limited because we don't have the full board, but we'll just go off of the current stuff we have on here. So let you start us off here. What is your favorite play that you want to put on first?
Ooh. I'm thinking either Emma or Azura.
We can just put both.
Um,
We can just put both. If you want to do
You
Emma,
want both?
I'll nominate Ezra as the second one.
For that correlation.
Yeah.
I like
Just,
that.
I mean, we did it last time in the team card.
Yeah, exactly.
And nothing's changed. Their lines is exactly the same. So
I like that. Yeah. Let's do that then.
okay, and then what other? I know you want something from Vegas and Seattle.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think I'm gonna run it back with the MVP battle.
Ooh, okay. I
I
like
think
it.
we need to have and yeah, I think fantasy for both of them.
Let's do
For
it.
sure.
Let's do it. They're both the same line too.
Hmm.
Uh,
Yeah, exactly.
All right, and then as a fifth, if you wanted a fifth flex, let's get Candace on here. Let's get all the top dogs.
Ooh, I like that.
What do we go with though? That's the question.
Yeah, since we
If
don't
we don't-
have her stock.
Yeah, exactly.
What was our runner up for her?
I think it was a tie between the fantasy and the rebound.
I do like that they dropped the rebound down below 10, but oh god, that burned so bad the last game. That hurt so bad. But I can't see both teams shooting 50%.
Yeah.
Either that or we could go Tina.
Good.
Tina Bina.
And just put a disclaimer that if Candace her stocks are under 3, then it would obviously be the fifth play here.
Yep, exactly.
Especially if it was 2, 100%. But yeah,
Yeah.
let's do Tina here in a higher implied total game.
I just really feel like this Seattle Vegas game is going to be the game for this slate.
Oh yeah.
I think that the con game is going to get really, really messy.
Oh, it's ugly as usual with Connecticut.
Yeah. At home too, it's going to get messy.
Oh gosh, I'm not looking forward to thankfully that's the first game.
Yeah.
That game is on ESPN too, by the way, the Connecticut Chicago game. But the Vegas Seattle, and going along in favor of your prediction here, that game is nationally televised on ABC, which is not
Ooh,
normal for WNBA. At
that
best they
just
get
piqued my interest.
yeah, at best they get
Yeah,
ESPN, but now they get it ABC local network. So
that's huge.
yeah,
That's huge.
I mean Bree's gonna even show up even more so. So
That really makes me love this team card that much more.
hmm
Oh yeah, I like that.
yeah, and I know people are gonna really want access to Candace, but we already have so much in this card, this particular card
Hmm.
session. We have Emma and we have Ezra, so
Yeah,
it's okay to stay away from her in this card and just put her in other cards that don't have maybe Emma or Stevens in it.
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
Okay, let's see what chat has, and I actually have to run. And I'll probably once we get the secondary props, I'll have a list ready to go, our list, and just put it in the Discord and on Twitter sometime tonight or tomorrow. Let's see.
That list is fire, man. You've been killing the list.
Trying. I mean, it's always adjusting though with these playoffs because
Bumps.
they drop the props 3 days in advance, and then obviously the lines are going to constantly change up until game time.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely just a warning. Like if you really feel a gut call now and you really like it, go ahead and find a pairing. If you
Yeah,
have to go down to a 2-man,
yeah,
3-man pick, like doesn't matter. If you have to go to a different sport, just go ahead and do it because it's probably 99.9% guaranteed that by the time you wait to lock it in, it's a wrap.
no, yeah, that's a really good point. It's something like really good to try to focus on. I always kick myself. I'm like, oh man, I had these two plays I really loved, and why didn't I just core them and do a 2 pick and just really
Yep.
smash it? Um,
Yep.
Sometimes you just have to do that, and I know you at times you want to force plays in to get the 4 or 5 pick, but that's a
Yeah.
really good point. Something to consider. Um, because some of these lines like Emma's PRA and the lines that haven't really changed, I think,
Yeah.
are the most susceptible for change here, like Tina's PR, Emma's PRA, and things like that. So,
Completely agree.
all right, you got anything else?
I don't. I was looking at chat. I saw underrated. He liked the plum under assist. So of course he loves his unders.
For sure.
And Io likes Candace points, which I get it.
I
I
mean,
get it.
she's been super efficient against Connecticut all year. So,
We said it last game too. We were talking about how she talked to her coach, her dad, her
yeah,
wife, and she got the confidence she got in the gym, and it's showing. I mean, she's on a roll, and I think her confidence is at a sky high. So if you don't think Connecticut adjusts to that, then go for it. But just be wary that she's not going to shoot that well from 3 again,
right,
probably.
right. Yep,
So
yep.
just be wary of that.
Very true. All right, guys. I hope everyone has a good weekend. Appreciate it, Vince. Always fun breaking these games down. I'm really looking forward to. It makes me more excited for the games, even more so. So, I hope they hold up to the potential in these spreads. 1 point spread in both games. So, it should be a battle. Both teams fighting for that edge now. It's an even
Yeah.
playing field. We're back to a 0-0 series. So.
Oh man, this is a good round. This is a good round for playoffs. I love it.
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, besides Connecticut and how ugly offense they are, it's a lot of fun. I mean, and it's just a preview of how awesome the finals are going to be.
For
As
sure.
long as Connecticut doesn't somehow pull an upset, I wouldn't mind anything but Connecticut in the finals. I would want to see Chicago versus Seattle or Vegas.
Yeah, same here. But I'm sure JJ will find a way to muck that up. So
Oh gosh, I hope not. I mean, they are due. I will say they are due. They made it semifinals like 3 times in the last 4 years. So, all right, guys. Good luck. Keep an eye out for our rankings over the weekend, and we'll also try to provide some EuroLeague, some EuroBasket stuff probably tonight because the games start early in the morning tomorrow. Keep an eye out for that. Probably put it in our Discord. So, yeah. All right, Vince. Appreciate it, man. Have a good weekend, and we'll catch you guys Tuesday. That's when the next game and slate is. So,
For sure. Later,
right,
guys.
Peace.
Peace.
Let's fucking go. We about to go big. Kill him with the brass pig. Let's fucking go. We going out blazing.
Let's get hunting.
This is population. Got to go big. Kill him with the brass pig. Got to go big. Kill him with the brass pig. 24/7 researching, it's all a fantasy. But if I make the right plays, it pays automatically. Bankroll showing that I know it don't strategy. On a winning streak, I'm stacking a dose of the bookies, all get mad at me. Confident with power plays, not clicking on a flex today. 10 times the money, and we all about to get paid. Arrogant shots on the stream, they be killing it. Never gonna stop it, I like if you feeling it. Picking the players, they all never time. You can't make up your mind, and just go with your gut. Fantasizing, Sasha Clown. Gabby Williams said, watch your mouth. They 1 and they 2, I played the over, they come through. Jackie Young and Kelsey Plum, pick them both, we stacking them. Going big to the maximum, just push them in, we cashing them. Let's fucking go. We about to go big. Kill him with the brass pig. Let's fucking go. We going out blazing. This is population. About to go big. Kill him with the brass pig. About to go big. Kill him with the brass pigs. We about to go big.
This is the game.
We going out blazing.
Let's get hunting.
This is population. About to go big.